Not no expert in demographics or politics and stuff, but this entire birth rate thing is actually very concerning for many countries. So we have data on births for many countries, and basically green means good and red is bad. That's basically what it is. So we're gonna start with the USA. So the USA is in the middle, 1.60. It's actually an increase of 0.4 from last year. So America is increasing the birth rate slightly. So much for the movement that Democrats try to do, where they tried to stop having kids. But it seems that the US births have increased from last year. New Zealand had a slight increase in births from last year. However, the birth rate still declined in New Zealand. Countries like the UK, Canada, and Australia do not have data. However, Canada still declined from 1 to 3, despite accepting millions of immigrants from Asia. It seems that the birth rate still has not increased in Canada. Australia has plummeted to 1.45, and the UK has plummeted to 1.38 as well, despite doing the same thing that Canada did. Yep, they really believe that allowing many people from all over the world would magically increase the birth rate instead of actually putting out incentives to increase the births of. However, some European countries are finally starting to see rebounds in the birth rates as well. Ireland has seen a 1.4 increase to just around 1.51 as well. Ireland, of course, had a much higher birth rate than most European countries. Finland had an increase to 1.27. Iceland, congratulations, Iceland, you've gone up to 1.57. Norway, you have gone up to 1.46. Sweden has gone down again to 1.41. And Denmark has gone back up to 1.49 as well. And the Netherlands has basically declined again, despite going up by 0.1. But Netherlands still had a very tiny increase in births. Belgium had a decline of 1.06 as well. But the more concerning birth rates come from Eastern Europe and Southern Europe. Spain and Portugal seem to be the only countries to have an increase in births as well. Well, Spain stayed the same and Portugal's increased to 1.43. Almost every other country, which will be shown here, has had a decline in births as well in 2025 as well here. Germany has declined to 1.29, and the lowest birth rate in this quarter of Europe is Italy with around 1.10, with a decline of 7.9. However, the scariest numbers come from Eastern Europe. Yep, here is basically the birth table of Eastern Europe. Moldova's birth rate has increased to 1.86. But however, Poland, the Baltics, Czechoslovakia, we're gonna be combining them into one country. We're gonna be talking about them together. And Hungary. Oh my God, some of these countries like Poland and Lithuania are at 1.01. That's awful numbers. Okay, as well. But I do think it's probably because of in Eastern Europe, I think it's because of economic situations, not a bunch of woke people saying we're not gonna have kids because kids are bad for the environment or some bullcrap. I think in Eastern Europe it's mostly, we can't afford it, basically. Even though because Eastern Europe is way poorer than Western Europe as well. Slovenia, however, had an increase in births, as well as Moldova, which is the poorest country in all of Europe. However, most of these countries still have had a decline in births, including Russia, down to 1.38. Ukraine had a birth rate of 1.93. Not a very high birth rate for a country that's at war. Yeah. And Kosovo has also had an increase to 1.99, which is actually the highest recorded in Europe as well. Here. And now to go look at the rest of the world. Not looking too good for Cuba. 18% decline for Cuba. A birth rate of 1.12 for Cuba. Puerto Rico isn't looking too much better of 1.87. Costa Rica is not doing that better than Poland and Czechia and the Baltics at 1.12. And here's the weird one. Mexico. They don't actually have exact numbers for Mexico. Mexico's birth rate is only 1.48. Yeah, that's pretty dire. And Latin America is honestly kind of struggling. Panama 1.64. That is a decline from 2.45 as well. Most of these countries have incomplete data. Chile actually has increased in births, so congratulations Chile for not falling to Korea numbers yet. They have gone up to 107. Argentina has declined to 1.14. Egypt's birth rate continues to plummet to 2.27 as well. Israel's birth rate declined by 2.85 to 2.85. So Israel's slow decline in birth rate continues as well. However, Central Asia has had a massive decline in births. However, Kazakhstan declined to 2.48, Uzbekistan 3.22, Kyrgyzstan 3.24, Iran declined to 1.43. Yeah, remember when everybody said that Iran would be one of the big countries, that would be a superpower in the future? But Iran, the birth rate is not looking too good. Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Turkey. Turkey has a lower birth rate than Germany now. Yeah, as the same birth rate as Germany now. Okay, it's not lower. I actually looked up. It's at 1.29, but yeah, and not looking too good for East Asia. Too. So Mongolia declined 6.3. However, they're still in the green, so that's good for them. Japan has declined 3.1. As well. Taiwan has declined 13.4. Now they have taken the crown of the lowest birth rate in the world from Korea. Yes, Taiwan's birth rate has declined so much that it's now below Korea. Hong Kong has declined to 0.79. Macau, though that's going to go extinct at this point. Okay. Thailand has declined to 0.86. Malaysia has declined to 1.43. Singapore has declined to 0.91. And Mauritius is the only African country on here, has increased to 1.58. Which Mauritius has had a steady increase in births since 2015 and has increased to a 10-year high of 1.58 as well. However, there is one glimmer of hope for one country. Korea, which used to have the lowest birth rate in the entire world, now no longer has it anymore. They have gone up from 1.72 to 0.81, which is good job, South Korea. You have beaten the allegations of the country of the lowest birth rate. Now, Taiwan has that allegation now. So, yeah. And we'll wait to see if these numbers will cover next year, because this is of 2025 numbers as well here. Not all countries have 2025 numbers, like Jordan and Palestine don't have 2025 numbers. Jamaica doesn't either. Mexico, I think, Mexico has 2025 numbers. That's Dominican Republic doesn't. Brazil, I don't think has 2025 members as well. I don't think they have Colombia on here, but I know Colombia has fallen down to like one as well. That's one country they have not put on here yet. But yeah, this is of course, very bad and sad day for East Asia and Eastern Europe. It seems that Western Europe is starting to recover somewhat, along with South Korea. However, East and Central Asia have been plummeting as well. However, some countries like India do not really have 2025 data for birth rates, along with Sri Lanka as well. But countries like China continue to struggle with the birth rates as well. So yeah. That's it about this video here. Goodbye.